Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button and also consider liking this video. It helps me out a ton. Now before I get started, please guys, if you do not use an Amazon affiliate link, check my Amazon affiliate link down in the description. I get a small kickback and helps out the channel. Getting on with today's video, I will be installing brand new lights in my BMW e46. I will be upgrading the projectors in the car and the actual bulbs, so my lights are brighter. Right now I do have the factory xenons, and I will be installing new projectors, retrofitting them from the retrofit source. I will link everything down below. Now I wanted to go this route instead of using aftermarket lights just because I like the OEM look of the car and I want them to look really I want them to look cool, and these projectors are really special. You'll see why. I ended up doing some customization to them. They're engraved projectors. You'll see them. They're really cool, and I'll explain a little bit what I got engraved towards the end once you see everything and see the final product. But man, these projectors look so good. So what we're going to do now is remove the actual headlights. I'm going to just throw you guys in a time lapse because anyone doing this retrofit of upgrading the lights like this should know how to remove their headlights. So I'll remove them in a time lapse, and then we'll kind of go more in depth with how you remove the projector and the bowl and installing the new projectors.
Find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right.
Alright guys, it's many days later. I actually ended up doing the right headlight that you guys saw me take out. I just kind of wanted to get a feel for it. I was getting really frustrated and kind of discouraged on how much actual modification had to be done. So I'm now actually going to refilm what I did. I think I can do a better job explaining it now. So we're going to start by disassembling the headlight. Now, before you disassemble the headlight, make sure you clean your headlight up pretty well, just because you are opening it up and you don't want dirt and other stuff from the outside world to get in. So we're going to start by taking off the seal, or lack of seal, since mine's all broken. And now comes time to open it up. As many of you guys know, if you're doing this retrofit, the e46 is incredibly easy to open up the headlights. No baking required. There's just these, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clips that go around the perimeter of the lens, and you're able to pull it up. So just lift up on them and pull out.
I know what's up. You can have it all. Watch me rip it off. I'll admit it. You got me feeling.
Now my headlights came out super easy only because I have opened up these headlights and I put these new lenses on when I upgrade these Angel Eyes. I will link these headlight lenses down below. They are relatively new, they are aftermarket, but I'll link them down below, and that's why mine came off so easy. Yours may be a little more difficult to take off, but if you keep working at it, you'll be able to get it off. Next, we're going to pull off the shroud, and you just pull out on it. Everyone keeps asking me where I got the shroud. I actually got these black shrouds at the junkyard. I know my xenons, when they came with them, they came with the like silvery ones. These black ones look so much better. Got them at the junkyard, super cheap. Now I've taken off the back door, and we are going to remove the old xenon bulb. Okay, so now to remove the actual housing from the inside housing from the outside headlight housing, a couple things I like to do is I like to take, this is a H6, so basically the standard size of the back of a screwdriver, and I like to twist this right one, which actually moves the headlight this way or that way. So instead of up and down, it does horizontal. So I like to turn it to the right, and this is actually pushing it this side out, which we need to pull it out. So if you can see it moving, and I like using a screwdriver only because you can twist it faster. You can do it by hand, but I basically use a screwdriver because I can twist it very fast. And then you'll start to see like a circle piece start to come up on the other side, and you can go till about there and stop. Now the next thing is, this is your vertical adjustment, and now we're also gonna turn this to the right. Turning it to the right is what's actually loosening the screw inside of it, so that's what we want. We're actually gonna have to loosen this one all the way. And don't go quite all the way. You just need to get it enough so you can get this piece, this little bar inside of it that I'm gonna show you guys in a second. You need to be able to get it to a point where it's tilted forward, and then there's a little bar inside you have to pry up and it'll allow it to latch off. So let me show you what you actually have to remove, because you guys won't be able to see it from there. So I'm now looking inside the headlight, and if you look back there, there's this little bar, and you actually need to pry up on it. And you're gonna pry up on it, and it will, once you get that ball above, outside of that little socket, you'll then be able to teeter it out. So there's a look, you can kind of see it. I'll give you a better look once it's out so you can see what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to remove the inner housing from the headlight.
Hold it down, we gon' have a blast. I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging, we going come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that if
And it's out. It actually requires quite a bit of force, not gonna lie. That one was worse than the other one. But once you have it all the way out, you should be able to just loosen this. And you'll see it starts to kick out, and then we'll turn it around. And now it's free, except right here. And we'll undo that. And we now have this whole assembly out. This piece also backed itself out. I'm just gonna put it back in. I turned this knob too much and it pushed, because it's just a screw assembly, pushed this one out. This one's supposed to come out, but this can go back in. Now I'm gonna explain how to actually get this out from the front. There's this little piece right here. This is the leveling sensor for the xenons, for the automatic xenons. When you're going, if you go up a hill or whatever, it pulls this in and pushes it out. So this is the little piece right here. And there's this little piece right here, and it's stuck in it. And you're prying up on this piece. Yes, isn't the best thing, but it's the only way. It does have a little wiggle. You're prying up on it, and then you're slipping it out like that. So you're kind of pushing down on this piece and pulling up on it, and it kind of allows it to kick out like that just a little bit, and then you can pull the whole thing out. If you can't see it right now on the camera, it's a little confusing. You'll get the hang of it once you're inside of it. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean up this inside again, and then we're gonna start taking the projector out of the old housing right here. Before we undo the 3 T20 bolts, 1, 2, 3, that actually hold in the projector, we're gonna pop the shroud off, and it's just held in with these 2 clips on the inside. And I would say if you're doing this retrofit, to buy new shrouds, because these shrouds are specific for these projectors and don't always, they won't fit. I mean, they will with some JB Weld. And it's just these, you look right here, it's these 2 pins, 1, 2, and I just took a screwdriver in between it, and it popped right off. And your old shroud's probably beat up anyways, so definitely recommend. So now we're gonna take off these 3 bolts, and there's these little rubber washers. You need those. The projector holes don't line up flat, and the washers allow it to, so definitely we need those. And the projector comes off, and we need to save these little rubber, there's only 2 little rubber pieces. So now here's your old projector with the Fresnel lens. My bowl wasn't actually, this one's actually a little burnt. My other bowl wasn't burnt, but these are the Fresnel lenses. If you're just going to upgrade them, you can pull these off and replace the lens, but I'm swapping in new custom projectors as I mentioned, so we will no longer be needing this bi-xenon projector. And yes, you can retain the bi-xenon functionality if you have it. There's these 3 wires, we only need 2, so it goes red then black, I think. I'll confirm that later when I wire it up, but here's the old projector. We're gonna set that aside for now. So taking a look at the the quick retrofit bracket for the low beam bi-xenon Bosch headlights. Come with this nice CNC bracket. I noticed that these screws don't actually fit in the hole. It's a little tight, so I would suggest drilling that out just a little bit, a little bigger. You can probably figure that out. It will help with installation. Here are all the necessary hardware, and here is a look at the Morimoto 5.0 projector that I've chosen to go with. I've seen the light output. It looks crazy. They also have these really nice coated lens, bi-xenon, D2S, super nice, clear lens, and I have custom lettering that I'll explain probably later in the video what it means, but some of my subscribers do, and some of my friends that watch my channel know what it's for. But here's a look at the projector. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these Phillips screws, put them in the holes, and we're going to tighten these spacers to allow the projector to sit up further in the actual assembly. So I'm going to put all these on right now, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, make sure those are nice and tight. Now this bracket should, in theory, you would hope, would just be able to go on, put the nuts on, and then smack it in to the assembly here and just bolt it up. Unfortunately, this projector is just too big. So what I actually had to do on the other one, and what I'm going to have to do on this one, is cut right here on the projector. I'll show you where I cut, and shave down the projector a bit, and cut all in here, and even near where the actual bolts go in, which I really don't like. So you're gonna have to trim down here, up here. I'll show you guys what I actually trimmed and do some time lapses of me with the Dremel out trimming it down, but it sucks. Unfortunately, I thought this was gonna be a quick and easy project. Doesn't turn out that way. Anything with retrofitting doesn't normally work out that way. However, if this was a smaller projector, if this projector wasn't so wide, this would work and I wouldn't need to cut it down. But I mean, it is a wide outputting projector. I think they could have made it skinnier. It's definitely wider than the other ones. I'm gonna go mark it up and show you guys where I'm going to make the cuts. Okay, so I roughly marked where we have to cut out with a Dremel. So anything marked in Sharpie needs to be cut off. So you have to kind of cut off here. Obviously, you can't cut off the stud because that's where you're drilling into. Cut down here. And this is just a rough estimate. You may need to cut more. These, where I marked, just need to be ground down. They don't need to be cut off just because the bracket is too big and it needs to fit right there. So I just grind these off a little. I already kind of snapped them off with a pair of pliers, but then you got to grind them down to be flush with these holes. So that's everything you need to modify on the actual housing. You do not need to touch this. This is good. Unfortunately, and I've never had to do this in any of my retrofits. This is my third retrofit. I did a retrofit in my Chevy. We did it in Matt's Scion TC, and now I'm doing it in my BMW. So I've never had to do this, but unfortunately, this calls for it. And you have to cut off this little section right here because it ends up fouling right here. So if you cut that off, it helps it sit in better. That's actually the only way for it to sit in. So you have to cut off right here. You also have to kind of cut here and here. And I kind of marked it on the front. So you got to cut right here. And you kind of have to get the screw. It just sticks out a little too much. So I just kind of shaved it down. Just touch the Dremel blade to it and kind of push it in a little bit. Same thing on the other side. So basically that will allow it to fit with the bracket. It will allow it to fit in. Right now it doesn't fit in, so the bracket can't sit. And you may say, why don't you just mount it recessed more? Well, then the actual shroud can't fit on. This needs to sit into housing more. I saw one retrofit, don't know how they did this, but I saw one retrofit and I think it would sit too far forward because I've already done one, like I said, so I know this works. I've seen one retrofit actually mount the bracket here, drill back into these and mount this here, but I think that will sit too far forward. So this was the best way I found, and the results look really good on the other one, so I have to say this method works. A couple other things before cutting. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it right now, is we're going to tape off this, tape here, and we're definitely going to tape all here in the glass off, just because we don't want any debris that we're cutting with the Dremel to get inside of it. So I'm going to tape that off now, and then we'll start cutting. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? This is just for us now. This is
find the right words. And there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl. So I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right.
Okay, now that you have cut the hole, this is kind of what I've done. That's what I found makes enough room for me to be able to get it in. You'll figure it out once you go around. I've also, as I mentioned, I cut here, which I really didn't want to do, but I had to do it. And I cut here, and I even had to cut there off. So now we're gonna double check that this fits before putting on the bracket in case we have to make any more cuts. As you can see, goes right through. Make sure you have a little bit, it's gonna sit somewhere around here, so make sure there is a little bit of wiggle room for rotation. And now we can set this aside, and now we can take this bracket that was cut. You don't need to cut it out. I did say you should drill these holes, the outer holes, bigger, just so these screws can fit, because they did not previously fit when I got the bracket. I didn't touch this one because the low beam Bosch headlights for the BMW only mounts in 3 places. Don't ask me why. So now we can take this bracket, and there is a correct way. Make sure the little cutout is for the solenoid is there, and then you can take the provided screws and tighten them up. Okay, once those are nice and tight, you now have your bracket and projector all assembled. So what we can do is we can take the existing or the stock screws that came with the Bosch projector, and now you're going to take the screws, and you have to put these little rubber washers on, and it only comes with 2 washers, as I mentioned. And now we can take the actual projector and seat it. So the projector is now in its housing. If you look on the back, it doesn't sit 100% straight, and the old one was like this too. But if you look right here, you look at this line and this line, they are not parallel with each other. This one kind of slopes down this way. And now when I was checking it the first time, it looked like it had an issue with, on the other one, it had an issue with the way the light was shining this way. Alright guys, so I just put this in my car, and as expected, like the last one, the rotation was a little bit off. So you can see it's kind of pointed up a little like this, so the line kind of goes up this way, so you have to straighten it. And unfortunately, the brackets from the retrofit source, whoever designed them, were just poorly designed, because these projectors, the old ones, actually sit crooked. The bolts just don't align, so it sits a little crooked in their Fresnel lenses, so you can't really tell that the line is off. However, now that they're clear lenses, you can clearly tell. So unfortunately, yeah, retrofit source makes some crappy brackets. We have to go and adjust them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drill the holes a little bigger to allow me to manually pick the rotation. And kind of, if you line your rotation up with this line, that's kind of where the car sits, and you'll be able to line them up. So all right guys, so I think I have it mounted for the final time. The rotation this way, it looks pretty good. The lens still moves a little bit, so I get the lettering straight, I know that. All right, so the rotation's good. It is now time to put it back together for the final time and just double check the rotation again, but I'm pretty sure this should be spot on everything. So we're gonna put this back together and then remount the angel eyes, put the shroud in. I will not be using the old shroud. I bought a new shroud.
Like this is just a must. Put me in perspective.
All right guys, so the shroud is mounted. It's not actually secured, and right now I mixed up, well I didn't mix it up, but I have some JB quick weld right here. Definitely use JB quick weld because it cures, or sorry, it sets in 6 minutes. So now the shroud, like I said, is just sitting there. So we're gonna take it off, and we're gonna put some quick weld here, 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 and I found also here and here, and even a little on the top, but be careful at the top because on the other one, it kind of hit. So that's where you want to put JB weld, or sorry, quick weld, and I'm gonna do that now.
I can see you now, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. feels right.
All right, as you guys can see, the shroud's mounted. Make sure the rotation of it lines up with the top of this piece right here, just because once it's dried or once it's actually set, you cannot touch it. So double check that, make sure that it's pushed back as much as possible, and it will look really good. I think it looks super good the way that the shroud's mounted, so you can take a look right there. I'm now gonna let this dry, or rather set, and then I'm going to install my angel eyes, and then once I have the angel eyes on, I'll be back showing you guys how to button up the rest of this. Okay, now that the shroud has cured, we are going to do one last final clean of the whole housing. And now that the housing's clean, we are going to put this black little plastic shroud, I guess it's another shroud we'll call it. We're gonna put the shroud on. It's now time to put the lens on. I'm doing one final cleaning just to make sure everything has no dust on it, super clean. This is a very, very important part. Like I've always cleaned mine as I've been going. Not too worried about the outside. I did put some jet seal on it, or some sort of sealant from Chemical Guys on the actual lens, just to make sure that it stays nice and clean. And now we're just gonna snap the lens in. And there you guys go. The lenses are back together. There's just one finishing piece that you can put on, and it's this piece. And I will be putting that on in a second, but I just wanted to show you guys, that's what it looks like. I think the headlights came out super, super good. We're gonna go put them on the car and show you guys what they look like at night and how they compare to the old ones. I already checked out the other one. I've been playing with the alignment and I put them on the car. Guys, these projectors are insanely bright, especially with the new Morimoto bulbs. Made these lights, it just transformed them. It looks amazing. I mean, it was a lot of work, but it's just custom and it looks awesome. And I'll explain more once it's in the car, but there's a look at them, and they're all sealed and they're all done. Here's a before look of my lights before I upgraded the projectors and installed new HID bulbs. And you can see it looks kind of brighter on camera than it really is, but hopefully this gives you somewhat of a before look of what it looks like after I swap it. All right guys, so the lights are back in my car, installed and adjusted pretty good. They might need another adjustment, but look at how bright these lights are. They are insanely bright. This is the same spot you saw in my previous clip of the before, so this is the after clip. These things are super bright. So let's take a look at how far they're throwing. And as you can see, it has that nice blue purple band down there. So you guys saw what the lights looked like. The output, I just want to give you a close-up before I close out the video. So here's a look at the light, crazy bright under the cutoff line, but there is a look at it, and I think they look killer. And you guys can see the etched lettering. I just think, guys, these lights came out amazing. I'm so happy with the output and the custom lenses. It really came out good. All right, it's time to close this video out. Before I do, give this video a huge thumbs up and consider subscribing. Guys, thank you for your continued support. We're so close to 20K. I know you guys can do it, so hopefully we hit 20K soon. Now getting on to the initials that are engraved into my projector. Some of my friends that watch this channel, and probably some of my subscribers, may know that this car was actually my dad's car. My dad and I worked on this car as a project car together, and he has since then passed away from cancer. So that's why I had his initials etched into my projectors, kind of as like a tribute and just to honor him. And there's a couple more things that I'd like to do to honor him with this car, because this was his car, and a lot of the things that I am doing to this car are things that he wanted. He wanted the cinnamon interior. I know I want to get the car painted a dark blue that we picked out, and there's some other stuff that I'd like to do to this car. So I just kind of wanted to honor him, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to make that happen. So if you guys like these lights, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the initials. I got all this stuff, the retrofit source. I waited a very, very long time for these lights, so I finally got them. I'm super happy with them. Let me know what you guys think. Also, give this video a huge thumbs up if you like what we're doing here, and drop a comment down below, please, of what you guys think. And we're so close to 20,000 subscribers, guys. So close. So thank you for your continued support. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.